All right, guys, today we're going to move forward with our pop art unit. We just finished our OP art unit, and we're going to start with our pop art unit now. And pop is short for popular, and you should have watched a video that kind of already explained that to you. And we're going to be looking at different artists throughout that, and we're going to be kind of creating several small projects that are going to prepare us for one larger project that you're going to do on your own. Today, this part of the project, we're going to be working with the art of Lichtenstein. Remember, he was more of the comic book style, and we're going to do word art. And so you're going to need to write down some words that are between 4 and 6 letters long. Now, I don't really care if that's in English or in Spanish. That's your choice. But you're going to pick those words. Now, when we do word art, a lot of times we use what's called onomatopoeia words, and those is just a very fancy language arts term that means a word that is spelled or looks like it sounds. So pop or vroom or pow or bam or boom, splat, all of those words are what's called onomatopoeia words, and they are fun to use for this. You're welcome to use that, but you're gonna compile a list of those words. I want you to compile a list of 6 words, and so I'm gonna look for those words, and I'm gonna ask you about those words later. So I'm gonna do some, and it can be actually a combination of 2 words if you'd like, and I'm gonna do that, and we're just gonna do some different words. And so I've got 2 words there. How about room and boom and kapow. And so there's some 5 words. And so you're just going to come up with a list of words. And then on the side of that, you're going to take a pencil and you're just going to practice drawing those words out, okay, on that sheet of paper. And so you're just going to practice drawing those out in bubble letters, okay? I encourage you to kind of look out and find yourself a fun YouTube video if you're not sure how to do bubble letters. But you're going to practice that, and you're going to practice writing different types of bubble letters, and you're going to practice those words as bubble letters, okay? And after you're done practicing that, just very quickly on the side to see how you want to play with that, we're going to start our thing, and you're going to pick which word you liked written out the best. Okay, and I think I'm going to go with pop art just because it's our unit, okay? And so then you're going to take that and you're going to take a blank sheet of paper like this, and you're going to try to fill this paper up almost all the way with that those words, okay, or that word. But remember, try to stick between 4 and 6 letters. 3 sometimes works. You can sometimes get a few more than that, but it gets kind of crazy other than that. So we're going to do that, and you need to decide if you want to do a landscape or a portrait version. I'm going to do mine in landscape. I feel like that gives me a little bit more room for the word that I have. And we're going to draw out those letters. So you're going to use again, really big, bubbly kind of letters. And I think I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to use some more blocky letters than I would normally use for things. All right, and so you're going to just draw very large letters. Now, you may have to do this a couple times because you may accidentally make your letters too big for your paper and you won't be able to finish it, what you were looking for. I encourage you to use some of those other skills that we've learned throughout this year, like overlap, to give yourself some different ideas and some different just different views. All right. And it looks like I might actually run out of room here, but we'll see if I can't get it in there. All right. And so we've got those words. And then after we've got our words kind of written out on there, you are going to draw a symmetrical shape in the background. All right, and so a symmetrical shape just means it's going to be the same in more than one area. So there's different types of symmetry, and you should have learned that in science class. Like there's radial symmetry, where it's the same thing is repeated over and over again on a radius or a circle. And there's also, bilateral, which means it's two sides are the same. And we're going to look at bilateral symmetry. You're going to want your shape that you're going to draw out to look roughly the same on two sides of your paper, whether that's up here and down and here or here or here. You're going to decide that. All right, and so you're going to draw a shape. So, popping is kind of a big pop. So maybe I'll draw like kind of a starburst shape that's somewhat symmetrical. So maybe you're going to want to do like a cloud burst or something like that. And you want this to not overpower what you've drawn. Okay, you want this to complement what you've drawn, not overpower it. Okay, so we are just going to go ahead and do that. Again, we're looking at things that end up being like overlap here. And so here we go. And so we have this going on. And now that you've got that drawn out, you're going to use complementary colors. Now, if you're not sure on that, you need to go way back in our lessons and check it out. Remember, those are the colors that are across from each other on the color wheel. It creates drama. It creates contrast on your paper. I'm going to actually use purple and yellow for that, or violet and yellow. And I'm going to do two different things. I'm going to use both a crayon and I'm going to use marker. And the reason why I'm going to do this is this is going to help us create some texture difference. And so you'll notice when in comic book styling that a lot of times there is the dots. And you can do that, and I'm going to do that with my crayon, and I'm going to just fill this in. And I would recommend, because again, comic books, the reason why there's dots is because of the printing process. And so what you're going to want to do is probably get yourself, if you're not a super accurate person, you're going to want to get yourself a ruler, and you're going to want to just follow that along that line to create those dots all the way through. And you're going to create texture doing that. And so today's project, this is just something that's going to be finished by the end of today. And you're going to put this just right on your portfolio. And I'm just going to do parts of it on here, and then I'll finish it up and post a finished product for you a little bit later. But you're going to go ahead and create that pattern and that texture throughout your piece, okay? And once I finish this, then I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to very neatly color over that. Now you'll notice that it did, you don't see those dots super well. You can see them a little bit better in person because it's just slightly of a different tone and it's a different texture and a different media. Notice how when I'm coloring, especially with marker, I'm doing long strokes that are all in one direction. This gets rid of that marker, those marker spots that you don't like so much. You'll be able to see the overlap of the lines, but you won't so much be able to see the rest of it. And so you'll notice that when you color that in. Now when I'll finish coloring that in when I finish my texture, but that's what we're working on there. Now, in the background, you're going to go ahead and you're going to take and you're going to do your complementary color. All right, and I'm choosing to outline it in my crayon a little bit. All right, and then I'll do a texture behind that. that kind of accentuates the poppiness of it. All right. And so then maybe I want to do a nice, to kind of contrast against those dots, I'm going to do maybe a line pattern of stripes. And remember to try and pay attention to where things would have overlapped and where they would continue in your space. Try to keep track of that as you go. And then the same thing, you're going to go ahead and you're going to, again, you're going to take I'm going to take my marker and fill this in. Now, if you don't have all these materials, again, that's fine. You need to use what you have around the house. That's especially important in pop art. Is the whole point of pop art is that it's popular stuff that you have laying around. And that'll end up being our standard, actually, is we're going to use stuff that we have laying around to create our final project in pop art. And you're just going to fill that in. Once you have all of that filled in, we're going to backtrack a little bit, and you are going to take something black. So you need a black marker or a black pen, and you are going to outline your design and your letters in that black marker. Okay? And so it's going to create a very thick, very bold effect, okay, when you begin to do that. All right, notice how that starts to make that purple kind of pop out of that yellow a little bit more. All right. Also cleans it up, because pop art is very clean lines because it's a modern form of art. And you'll notice there how the word pop now pops. And so you may want to make your lines thicker in some areas than others if you'd like, to play with that, to give yourself a different effect. So that's your project for today, and you're going to be finishing that completely up and going ahead and posting that in your portfolio for me. All right, so thank you for being here today and doing your project. I appreciate it. Have a great day.